And why is women important? Yeah, I've mentioned part of it, but I have to comment on 3 areas where UN research show us that a bigger share of women make a difference. First, it's about enhanced intelligence and situation awareness. Where we have more women in the forces, we get better information about the causes and the conflict, and for that reason also, better foundation for handling it. Not only women who talk to women, but also other perceptions of the information we receive. Secondly, better protection of force and population. We see less harassment, less sexual abuse and such things where we see a bigger portion, both within the forces, but also in the local societies where we work. And finally, an improved reputation of United Nations, probably linked to the 2 other ones. And I have many practical examples myself. It's such a great honor and inspiration to be here today. I've already inspired myself after listening to His Excellency Ban Ki-moon and the rest of the speakers this morning. And even after 36 years in service, we need to be empowered, we need to be inspired. And for that reason, I'm very excited to be invited here. But I hope I also can share some of my experiences. I have 3 key messages for this session. And before I take them, I'm so proud to bring my UN beret. I came back from UN service a couple of months ago, but this is important for me, and I'll tell you why. But the 3 key messages of my short speech today is, first of all, women, peace and security and gender is not first of all about equality. It's first of all about operational effectiveness, how to succeed. Secondly, gender and women's peace and security is not a particular topic for women. It is a topic that has to be dealt with both men and women. And for that reason, I'm so inspired with the first speakers and to see that we also have many men in this audience today. And the third part, women must support each other. We have to accept that we need to be empowered, we need to support each other. So, a little bit about myself. Military career is not a natural choice, and it was not for women in my country either, even if we are a pretty egalitarian society. I was planning to be a doctor, but I was very fond of outdoor life, of sport. I liked school, both the academic part, but also the practical part. And most important, I think, I had an older brother who wanted to join the military. And I was competitive, and I thought a couple of years in an officer candidate school will be a good start of my career, for my CV, for my experience, and then I can start studying medicine. I joined, I really enjoyed what we were doing, and I'm still in uniform after 36 years. So, what about UN? And I have a long military career. I'm an infantry officer. I've served home and abroad. I've served in Lebanon twice, in Afghanistan. I've been in Bosnia, Cyprus the last few years, but also many operations back home. So, such a great career with such a variety and such an amount of meetings, but first of all, a meaningful job, serving for my country, serving for peace. But UN operations, that might not be the most natural thing. And it was, when I started in Lebanon, UNIFIL, in 1994, that was not a boost for your career to do UN operations. That has changed in Norway. Now it's very much appreciated. But I think I honestly mainly joined for adventure. I wanted to see the world, I wanted to go to Lebanon, I wanted the experience of an operation. Throughout my career, I've seen so much conflict zones, wars, and I've studied it, and I met people. So when I have been serving in Afghanistan, Bosnia, Balkans, and lately Cyprus, it's more than adventure. This is, for me, vital. Peacekeeping operations makes a difference. We've seen that, we've studied that. And to contribute to that means a lot to me. And for that reason, I said I'm proud and honored to wear my blue beret. And I now, as very soon second in command in the Norwegian Defense, I will also make sure that duty for UN is good for your CV, for your further career, which is this in Norway now. The only one. I know many of you represent a minority in your force. For many years, I was the only one as an infantry woman in the units I worked in. And I have to admit, even if I've never been harassed, I have felt respected, I felt I have succeeded and been thanked for that. But it's lonely. It is sometimes lonely, as it is to be a leader. Also male leaders, I think, see the same. So that's something that it's vital to remember, that for that reason, it's such a good thing to have programs like you have here, to meet, to network, to make sure we support each other and feel that we are part of something. And shouldn't stop us. Many women quit early because they don't think it's possible to combine family and career. I have been fortunate. I have 2 children, now grown-up students, twins, one boy and a girl. I think they do well, so it proves that it was possible in our case. I have to say it's important to choose the right husband who is supportive. And I'm also lucky to have a society around supporting. But I'm thinking about it often as a senior leader, that I have to make sure that we have flexible career, both for men and women, that makes it possible to make a career also with family and with children. And it is possible if we really want to. The hardest part with the family, I have spent lots of time away from my family. Exercises, deployments, and so hard work over many years. And I think the hardest thing was when I left for Afghanistan. I had 2 11-year children. Then they are at the age where they really understand. And we had lost 5 soldiers in Afghanistan just before I left. So they saw the headlines and the pictures in the media. That's part of the sacrifice that we are aware of, the risk we take choosing this profession, and a natural part of our career. But what also, talking about being women in such a situation, my neighbors asked me, can you really leave your children? And that's a tough question to get, because my husband, who has also deployed and served several times abroad, he never gets such questions. He gets questions, do you need support? Should we cook you a meal? Should we take the children after school or childcare? So think about that when we address women, that it is hard to be challenged on if you do the right. Maybe my children were well taken care of. I did this for my unit, for my country, and for peace. The war in Ukraine is a terrible reminder about what we just have heard about and focused on. That war and conflict affects not only men, but very much women and children. And we have so many examples in the media from this war very close to my country, where we see that women are raped as part of the fighting. We see how buildings like hospitals, nurseries, children's schools, and so on also are impacted. We also see how women and children are left with the societies as home, or refugees or displaced persons. So there is disproportionality between men and women, the way they are affected. And for that reason, UN Resolution 3025 is so important. We have to understand that to prevent and solve conflicts which affect both genders, we also have to have both men and women preventing and working on conflict resolution. So 1325, I'm pretty sure most of you are very familiar with it, but this is what it's all about. We need women to work on it. We need laws to protect the rights of women, and we need female leaders, and we need training for men and women to understand this. And why is women important? Yeah, I've mentioned part of it, but I have to comment on 3 areas where UN research show us that a bigger share of women make a difference. First, it's about enhanced intelligence and situation awareness. Where we have more women in the forces, we get better information about the causes and the conflict, and for that reason also, better foundation for handling it. Not only women who talk to women, but also other perceptions of the information we receive. Secondly, better protection of force and population. We see less harassment, less sexual abuse and such things, where we see a bigger portion, both within the forces, but also in the local societies where we work. And finally, an improved reputation of United Nations, probably linked to the 2 other ones. And I have many practical examples myself, also practical examples why we need women. Remember in Lebanon, we knew women were smuggling ammunition and weapons, but we couldn't search them because we didn't have women to do it. In Cyprus, we had lots of migrants, refugees, also women and children. And Afghanistan, searching houses, going into compounds. I think we calm down when you have both men and women present, where families are gathered. So just a few practical examples. And then there are lots of myths and stereotypes when it comes to women. I think many have their ideas about a soldier or an officer from Hollywood movies. And that's very much often not the case. So think about that women fits into much more than support roles. They do vital jobs in support roles, but in all kinds of roles, forget about the Hollywood images and think about what competences you need and get them. Another typical myth is that, and I've heard it several times since I've been negotiating with the sides, it was said that women couldn't negotiate, we wouldn't be respected in patriarchal societies. My experience from Cyprus, from Afghanistan, from Balkans, is that I felt I was respected by the local governors or leadership, even if their societies were different. Because I think they saw that I represented an organization, some kind of power, some kind of will, with UN or NATO or other I've served for. So that this is not always the case, that we are not respected. It can work very well. I will sum up very soon. So we have to attract women. I think we have to educate our personnel on the reason why we need women. We have to have facilities that fit women's accommodation, abolition. The UN does a lot now to improve that. Equipment for women, right sides of backpacks, right sides of rifles or whatever you bring. And, but most important of all is the way we build the culture. A healthy culture where everybody feels they are part of a team and they are included. And this is as important for a man as a woman, a Norwegian, or from Pakistan or Korea or wherever. So build healthy cultures, make sure that everybody you have in your unit feel respected, and look for the gold in every single one. What can they contribute with? And finally, I know my time is probably due now, so I have also one of my important things to address is we talk a lot about shares of women. But when I met the troop contributing countries, 15 of them in UNFICYP, I always reminded them that functions also mean something. We need women in every level. We need women in different roles, like the operational planners. They have a huge impact. The one engaging with the sites have huge impact, and so on. So challenge hard on that. And it works. We had in many roles in UN. I'm so proud of the ones I've seen from many nations. So all my experience tells women can do, and we can do in a big variety. But we have to continue educating ourselves, men and women, to understand why this is so important. So that concludes my brief. Remember the 3 key messages. Women, peace and security and gender is about operational effectiveness. This means something not only for women, but also for men. And make sure we support each other. Gatherings like this is networking from Cyprus. We can empower each other, and we deserve it. Thank you.